Hi, and welcome to the Senior Network. I'm your host, Greg Fulton. Today we're joined with Lindsay Roberg, Executive Director, Friends of Caroline Hospice. Glad to have you.
Thanks so much for having me.
And once again, knowing the story with the Cypress of Hilton Head. And by the way, are we here again in this gorgeous Cypress on Hilton Head? Thank you for allowing us here.
Sure.
Well, today's a special day. We have a lot of new guests, speaking of Lindsay, so welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about Friends of Caroline Hospice.
So Friends of Caroline Hospice was started 37 years ago by a group of volunteers who came together and realized that people wanted to have the option to be able to die at home instead of in the hospital. So started in 1977, incorporated in 1980 by Veronica Tovey, and the first patient's name was Caroline Kwan. So hence Friends of Caroline. Yes, but we're also known as Carolina Hospice. A lot of people think that's who we are, so we kind of have a couple different aliases. So it started as a group of volunteers coming together, nurses, chaplains, etc., really to help people with their wishes and to allow them to finalize their own chapters.
Is this local?
It is local. We're out of Port Royal and Beaufort, but we cover all of Beaufort County, Jasper, Colleton, and Hampton. So we have a wide service area. And really our goal is really to keep the mission the same as it was when it started, people helping people and making sure that money is never an issue. So that care, everyone can have the same expert, superior care that we all deserve at the end of life.
Sure, that brings a big point with the different types of care, and you just said it, like there's hospice care, bereavement care, palliative care. Can you explain a little bit maybe about that?
Sure. So palliative care is really meant for people who are still seeking active treatment. So you could have stage 4 breast cancer and still be getting radiation and chemotherapy. You can still be going to see as many doctors as you like. And palliative care is really just supportive care at home to help you be able to symptom manage the things that you can do at home instead of having to go to the emergency room. So say I had pain or nausea at 2 o'clock in the morning. Palliative care is there really to help you to be able to manage those symptoms at home but still be able to go out and see your doctor and get those treatments. Hospice care is really the end of life, 6 months, and a lot of people think, it's time to call in hospice when it's the last couple days, but hospice is really meant to be a 6-month and even more of a end of life diagnosis. So I always say that hospice care is more of an art than a science because we don't really know. You might think that somebody has 6 months and they may live for a year and a half, and we certainly do have patients who stay on hospice care for longer than 6 months.
So you can do that. That's not a requirement that it be a 6 months.
And then that's the end of the care. That's not the way it works. So how it works is a physician has to go out to the house or a nurse practitioner and say that if this disease continues on its path of what would be expected in this prognostication, that you would meet hospice care.
Or what's the other thing? Failure to thrive, maybe? Is that another diagnosis? Yeah.
Medicare has really asked for us to get away from that, only because obviously elderly patients a lot of them can be failure to thrive, and it was a category they were seeing hospices put everybody under that. But certainly if a patient is having difficulties with any of their activities of daily living, so bathing themselves or even medication, hospice should be consulted to come in. Falls, all that good stuff. So, but definitely weight loss is something that is a trigger that says, hey, we probably need to call hospice in because there's some other underlying situation here.
I know my mother, my parents live here at the Cypress, or they moved here in '94, and when my mother was just at the end of her life, she was in the Preston Health Center, which we have here at the Cypress. But we did call in hospice for probably about the last 3 months, I think. So, I mean, you can go to the different skilled care facilities.
Yes.
It's not just that you're going into people's homes, correct?
Right. It's the same as home health. They can go anywhere you call home. So we go to assisted livings. We go to the hospital even. We've had homeless patients. So it's really wherever the patient calls home and wherever they feel most comfortable.
Obviously, Norma, you've had some experience. So here at the Cypress, I know you have the Preston, but for our viewers that may not be aware of that, that's the skilled nursing part of the whole
Yes,
Cypress,
it's
correct?
a 55-bed skilled nursing facility. There is a part of it, 11 rooms,
Okay.
that are for folks with dementia or Alzheimer's.
Like a memory
but the
care
rest,
type unit?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And but then we also have our own home health program here, where we have about 100 employees, and what that does, frankly, is it helps to keep people in their homes and keep them independent. I was telling you beforehand, my dad is 100 years old now. We just celebrated his 100th birthday.
Wow.
And so he has someone from home health come in. I think it's 6 days a week, but
Right.
it's from 8 to 10 in the morning.
Just a little assistance.
And just a little assistance. It's nothing major, making the bed, cleaning out his kitty box, things like that. But it keeps him independent. And that's our goal here. You know, as long as people can be.
Right, and to allow him to use his energy for the things that he wants to do.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good way to put it.
So it brings up a question. So if someone's in obviously short term, maybe just in the Preston for a need, and they are on hospice and they want to go back home, then hospice can follow them back into their residence,
Oh,
correct?
sure.
Okay.
Oh, sure. It doesn't happen real often. Once someone moves to the Preston, they tend to
They're at that
Forever
just say,
home.
okay,
stage.
that's where
That's
I'll
our new
stay.
home, right? I
Yeah, exactly. But again, here, when folks are living here, and maybe a spouse moves to the Preston, it's convenient, for their spouse, because they can visit anytime they want to. And actually, we encourage people to bring their spouse over here to our clubhouse for meals, or if that person likes to play bridge, keep them involved in the community, even though they might be living permanently at the Preston.
Yeah,
As long as they can.
that's
you know.
great.
And I know I say it on all the shows, but it's so true, because I'm obviously in the home care business myself, and hospice is just not a bad word. It's a great supportive network that you put in place
Oh,
for the
gosh.
whole family, not
Right.
just the patient.
Right.
That's right.
It is. It's really a holistic approach, and a lot of what we do is, family dynamics. Working through the issues that a lot of times we're the mediator of the conversations that you want to have, but it's, how do we really have these conversations? And so a lot of times we're just there facilitating the conversation.
Exactly.
With the families.
Hold that thought, though. We're going to need to take a break.
Okay.
Stay with us here on the Senior Network. We will be right back.